You having trouble again with the mic stand? Are you sure? Okay.
No, we're good.
But come on, just let me, I know
look,
how to.
Look. I got it. It's good.
You're going to mess it up, though. You're going to, like, break it or something. Rachel,
No.
could you
No,
come?
I don't need help.
Could you
Do
please
not
help him with the mic?
Stop it.
Let her. She knows how to work it.
I've got it. I don't need help, okay?
Come on, man. There you go. That's good. Yay. Now she's like, well, actually, I have to. What have you done?
What have you done? Fix it. Fix yourself.
What's going on, all you helping hyenas? My name is Mason.
And my name is Grayson.
And welcome to The Modern Dude.
A podcast by dudes, for dudes, helping dudes become better dudes.
Dude! I'm not sure when it became unmanly to ask for help, but fuck if that is not stupid as shit. Let's put our pride aside, maybe, and focus on the task at hand and getting that done correctly.
Wow, well said.
Thank you.
Especially that middle part where you said fucking stupid shit. Very classy, Mason. Very classy.
I've got away with words.
Anyway, today's episode is about asking for help. Guys asking for help specifically. Dudes asking for help.
It's never really been a stigma of women asking for help. It's mostly just guys.
Because we are dumb and think that we're supposed to do everything ourselves. And I guess in a way we've been conditioned to think that.
Absolutely.
Because we're supposed to be alpha and we're supposed to be
providers for the family
and whatever and
blah,
blah, blah, blah. And we don't need help, because we're so manly and strong and just a bunch of bullshit fluff.
Malarkey.
I find asking for help. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons. I think at a base level, a lot of guys don't ask for help because of what we just talked about like social stigmas and things like that. But I also feel like guys don't ask for help. It's the sign of weakness type thing. For me personally, I've struggled with this a lot.
Fucking Mike.
You just need to. It needs to come up more.
It's fine.
It's leaning towards you is the problem because there's too much stick coming down from out here.
Too much stick.
Too much pole pumping out of the bottom.
That's not on me.
Too much pole pumping out of the bottom.
We can keep going.
So much pole.
Hey,
there we go.
We're back. It's funny that this thing actually gave me a fucking issue after we did that whole bit.
I feel like it's still got potential.
No. We're all three legs are on the ground.
All right. Let's take a quick pause real quick so you can find it easier. I personally have...
I'm leaving all of that.
I find a lot of issue in asking for help, not because I want to be... I feel like I need to be manly or I need to be, I'm strong and it's a sign of weakness or whatever. I wind up not doing it. And I especially do this in my daily life, but also at work a lot too, bartending, is I don't ask because I don't want to feel like I'm a burden. I don't want to feel like I'm putting my like any sort of like problem on somebody else. I just don't want people to feel like I'm asking too much or I'm putting them out.
That tracks for you, though.
Yeah, like for work.
You are a burden.
Anyway, for work, I feel like there's too many. Like, if there's like three things that I see that need to be done, I could easily ask somebody to go and help do that thing. Be like, hey, could you do this real quick? I got this thing to do over here. But instead, I just see all three things and I, in my head, try to manage how can I do all three of those things just myself. I'll just do as much as I possibly can myself. because I feel like I'm sure everybody else is busy too, right?
Yeah,
Other coworkers
for sure.
are busy, so they've got other shit that they got to
Absolutely.
do, and I don't want to be, I'm the one that notices, so it's now my responsibility to take care of it.
Don't want to disrupt the flow.
Right,
when
which
it's- yeah.
winds up being exactly what happens
Yeah,
because
you do
I try
too
to
much.
bite off more than I can chew,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, I didn't ask for help, so the flow actually winds up not working because if I just asked somebody, it would have been
faster.
quicker, you
When-
know.
Yeah.
But like outside of that, like just in my daily life, I ask, or I don't ask people for help a lot of the time because I don't want to feel like a burden. I don't want to feel like I'm
This is what-
putting somebody out or letting somebody down, which is like a dumb way to think. And I've gotten a lot better about it over the years, like asking for help.
Sure. You did it the other day.
I did ask for help the other day. I asked you to take my dog out
Yeah.
for like a little.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, thank you. See, look, it can happen, y'all. There's room for improvement. But yeah, for me, this has always been like a really
This
difficult
is why
one.
I make food for you, by the way, because you don't want to ask.
I'm not gonna ask. I'd rather starve.
I just feed him. I'm like, Grayson needs to eat. He's not gonna ask for me to like make something because I'm already making something. He's
Well,
like,
I'm not-
oh, would you make me something too, please?
But you also know I'm not gonna eat. So
Yeah.
like if
I have to feed you.
yeah, you're
It's
like
good practice for when I have children, really.
you're like, have you eaten today, Grayson? And I'm like, you know that I haven't,
I made him a breakfast sandwich today.
because you knew that I wouldn't eat before this.
Yeah, and I wanted you to be in tip-top shape.
Feeling
And
great.
he's killing it.
Feeling great. It was an everything bagel with cheese and egg. No, not even any meat, which is
No,
we normally
little
like
protein,
still some
Egg,
protein with the
yeah.
eggs. Yeah.
little sriracha, ketchup, mayo combo.
This is now a food podcast because we're not talking about anything but food right now. But yeah, that's just like overall, that's been something that I've always dealt with. And, when people ask me, I try to always accommodate. I try to always help. And then I get nervous that if I ask and then they can't help me, I'm like, man, I just, it's always been like a weird thing for
It's
me.
like almost awkward or whatever.
Yeah, I'm like, well, I helped you. Like, not that I'm like looking for like, a favor for a favor, but like, I just don't want to let anybody down. I don't want to be let down. Like, I try to always, make everything that I do in a way that I can balance everything because I don't want somebody to like have their time sacrificed just to help me,
Sure.
and ultimately I think,
But that's kind of like the reason. Sorry, keep going.
no, but what I've come to realize, especially in the past, like, especially since COVID, honestly, is that is what the existence of friends
That's
are.
exactly what I was gonna say. I thought you were going to say that, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that's literally
that's
what
why
they're
you
there
cultivate
for.
friendships is to
Right.
like lean on people. We talked about that too, in previous episodes. Like, you want to lean on people because you have done the same thing and would do the same thing for them. And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
That is taking your pride and your ego out of it again as guys, which is very hard for us to do.
Oh yeah.
And you have cultivated friendships, not just because you like these people, not just because you like being around, but then it's a community thing, like people become friends with people because it takes a fucking village sometimes, for anything, if someone in the community is struggling or needs help, that's what the community is for, is to bring that person up and to carry them with you.
Right.
And I think that's huge. And it is so hard for us guys to do that because we do feel that stigma. And for me, I think it's like, I totally get the sign of weakness thing. That's like the big thing that I feel like I don't like looking like I can't handle a situation.
Right. And I mean, that's part of it too. That's part of my
And for me, it kind of triggers that competitive thing. Is like, I like to be pushed to my limits on certain things.
yeah.
And so like, but then once I'm there at a breaking point, it's like, oh, I don't like this anymore.
Yeah,
I don't want to do this.
shutting down.
Yeah,
Like, I
because
can't
then
do
you get
this.
overwhelmed, and
Yeah.
then the task at hand falls apart because you've just been a jackwagon and haven't asked for help.
Not the jackwagon.
Yeah.
We need a jackwagon definition that pops up right here.
Done.
Okay.
I'm actually just gonna put like a person on a wagon. His name is Jack. We got to move on.
Okay.
it's a weakness thing. It's a pride thing. It's a not wanting to let people down thing.
Right.
And ultimately, it's just a dumb thing, because it's completely okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
and should be normalized.
Right. And I mean, especially, okay, like breaking down what we were talking about earlier, like at work, absolutely. You need to ask people for help. But within that same breath, I think being someone who asks for help all of the time, in a way, like there's a difference between asking people for help when you need help and asking people for help because you're a lazy fuck. There's just a difference. And there's a lot of people, that's what winds up being, and in part of the reason I've been self-conscious about asking for help before in the past is because I don't want people to think that I'm asking just because I don't want to do it. For me, it's always I'm asking because I am literally overworked or I'm stressed or I just like it'd be one nice thing to get a little assistance. Or take the burden off or like have a little bit of just like a backup, and support in that way. Whereas I think there's a lot of friends who are just like lazy all the time and like don't want to do, not friends. I'm not friends with people like that, but there are people like that who they're just like, they just don't want to do stuff. And they know that because they're friends with people who they can
People will pick up the slack
People
for
will pick up the slack for them. And that also
It's a shitty mentality.
absolutely can bleeds into work, not only your day to day. And that's when you start having an issue. And I've just never wanted anybody to think of me like that.
No.
Not that I do that, because I definitely don't. Anybody that I work with would know that I bust my ass and I take a lot of pride in what I do. But like, I think that's such a unattractive quality that I've never wanted to even slightly look or be like that or sound like that. And so that's why I've wound up like, it's been hard for me to like ask for help in the past, so, but there is a difference and people can pick up on that shit and notice that shit. And you don't want to be that person. It's like the boy that cried wolf mentality. Like you're asking every single time for help and people are like, I didn't need fucking help. Well, you're picking up a shift and now I'm seeing you on Instagram at the beach. What are you doing? I thought you needed something else, not just a free beach day.
I've worked with too many people, especially it's easy to see in the service industry when people are not pulling their weight.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure I haven't worked in corporate America or many other jobs recently at least like that. But when people are slacking and it affects the team, it's a pain in the ass, man.
And you can notice. Everybody notices.
Yeah, everyone fucking notices, and people talk about it, and then you get labeled as that person, and that's not a good label to have.
Not a good label to have.
Especially if you're trying to move up in the world in whatever career you're doing.
Well, and that's the other thing, too, is like it's not just based in, like we're talking about work right now and careers. If it's not, it trickles out from whatever career you're doing, because if you go into it, my mom always told me, she said, I don't care what you do, you need to take pride in it. You need to take pride in what you do, and you need to fucking do
110% is what the old adage is.
Always do it, and do it big, and do it well.
Well,
just do it well, because what happens after you leave? When you get references or other people are saying, who's so-and-so, he was a great worker. He was a great guy.
It was an interim job, even, in between, a bridge job. You still want to have a work ethic that you can practice and then can travel over into the next thing you're doing,
right?
Because like if you're a slack ass, then that's gonna be your mentality going into the next thing, and
slack ass or a jackwagon. Don't forget the jackwagon.
Raised by boomers, what can I say?
Okay.
Love you, Dad.
All
right. So yeah, there's definitely the flip side of that. But like, I think, for the people out there going more back to like asking for help, I think it kind of is just a practice thing. You just gotta be okay with like, obviously, work as hard as you can, and then when you do ask for help, people will have no problem giving it to you.
Right.
Because they'll realize that if you're asking for help, you really need it.
It must mean that you need it.
You need it, exactly.
Right, yeah.
And then, like, for instance, we were planning this episode, and the same day that we planned this episode, I went to work. It was Memorial Day weekend sometime, and it was pretty dead. And I cut my other bartender early because it was real dead.
Sure.
20 minutes later, we get a pop.
As
Always happens.
Always happens.
And I was in the weeds for like an hour.
Sure.
But I was managing, but it was like starting to get to the point where I was like, holy fuck, this is, we're about to be at a breaking point.
The momentum is.
And my coworker came and was like, hey man, you need help? I'm like, no, I got it. I'm good. And as the words came out of my mouth, I was like, we just talked about this. Like,
yeah.
And like literally like 5-10 minutes later, it died down and I was like, okay, we're good. But like I thought about, I was like, if this keeps going for another like 10 minutes, I'm going to have to ask for help.
Right. When you could have just asked for help in that moment
I could have
already.
just done it. Yeah. I probably had like, I don't know, like 8 to 10 tickets lined up. Plus I had some people at the bar. I was just trying to help. I was like, I could probably have said yes there.
Yeah.
But it was okay. Like literally like 15 minutes later, it was back to being dead as shit. Because it's like everyone just came in at the same time.
Right.
Got a bunch of tickets at the same time. But then everyone was chilling. So it ended up being okay. But I literally could have said yes, and it probably would have made the flow of work go just a little smoother.
And it just wouldn't have mattered.
It just wouldn't have mattered.
He wouldn't be asking if he didn't want to help.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's not like he thinks that I was bad at my job or a lesser man or
of course
couldn't,
not.
like it's just like there was a lot of shit going on. And like even afterwards, my friend Kyle and my friend Sarah, who were those two servers that were running the drinks, they both came up to me like, hey man, you did a great job, which was nice to hear, Of
course.
But like at the same time, probably could have said yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So that's what it winds up being. I mean, like I understand there's way more than just like, I don't want to look like I can't handle it. There's a lot of other facets as to like why you wouldn't ask. I mean, again, like with me personally, I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to put people out. I don't want to seem like, I have very high standards for myself, and I want to make sure that like I can handle shit. But you have to be okay with asking friends. They will say yes. If they're your friends and they care and they know how much pride,
humility.
Humility is all that it is, man. You have to practice that. You have to work on that. And you have to be okay with asking. And if they're going to help, and they're not going to hold it over you. That's the whole point of having a friend, is so that they can support you.
This is one thing that we haven't touched on. We didn't even talk about it, I don't think, when we were going over. It's like learning how to do something is like a big one too.
Right.
Like I've been learning a new software for editing, and like
for all of this.
And sometimes like I don't want to burden Tyler by texting him and being like, hey, I don't know how to do this, when I could probably YouTube it. And I've done some of that, but like at some point I'm just like, I'm fucking lost here. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I'm just gonna ask Tyler.
Right.
And it's generally like it's not like a huge thing out of his day.
No.
Is that true, Tyler? Oh, see, he's shaking his head.
Was he shaking it up and down or left or right? Okay.
He's like, yes, it fucking sucks, you dick.
He's like bobbleheading.
It's
like
like
we can't
it's
really
called
know.
YouTube, Brody. No, but like at the end of the day, like it just expedites the thing a little bit faster if you ask for help to someone who knows better than you. know? And that's okay.
You got to humble yourself to that, and know that like, when we throw our silent disco parties all the time, and like, Price, one of our very good friends, he is no more dancing. Price, he's an amazing DJ, and he's really, really great with making mixes. They're like long form mixes of like songs that flow into each other, like a true like DJ set. And I wanted to get into it, and I do music as well, and it's something I've always wanted to learn. And he was like, well, if you want to make one for the next one, do it. I'm like, yeah, sure, okay. Like, I'm musically inclined. I'll be able to figure it out. Couldn't. Absolutely lost. What I made was shit. And
did you make one without him?
I kind of did. Yeah. I made one without.
I was like just a bunch of songs. It was just a playlist.
Yeah. He was like, no playlist. It's got to be a mix. And I was kind of like dragging songs into GarageBand, and I got lucky with a few things that kind of like overlaid each other really well, and like even like full songs that I was like putting on top of each other that worked well somehow. But I was like doing all these things and cutting it, and I was like, this is so fucking hard, and I know this is not the right way to do it. And I did it, and he was like, it was my first mix, and he was like, it was okay. He was like, and I was like, you know what? can we set up a
teach me,
day? Yeah,
master.
can we just set up a day where you like
I
teach
will
me how
be
to
a
do it? And he was like, I would love nothing more than that. Now it's something we do all the time, you know.
Padawan.
We've made mixes together now,
Yeah.
and it's like, and the last one I did like big chunks of it, just me, and he's, you know, and he's put his stuff in it, and we've really made mixes together now, and it's like something beautiful can come of asking other people for help and working on things together, and like it's all about teamwork, man. You got to humble yourself enough to know that you can't do it all by yourself.
Yeah, it's even more than teamwork. It's just surrounding yourself with good community and with people you trust that, you know, won't just like be like, you idiot, you know.
Yeah, for
like,
sure. For sure.
And like, of course, you know, like a little banter's never hurt anybody, but like, for the most part, people are going to be very receptive to wanting to help you.
Yeah, 100%.
If you're not a lazy fuck.
Speaking of love and humility and taking a lot of pride in what you do, it's Pride Month.
It is Pride Month.
So we wore our colors today.
We did.
Brought to you by Old Navy and Omegang Brewery.
Did you say only gang?
Omegang.
The only gang.
The only fans.
So
There's
there's a lot of OnlyFans happening during Pride Month.
Sure. I think that's just
All
a
the time.
year-round thing. Also, if you want me and Mason to start an OnlyFans, you can vote on our YouTube page.
We're doing a naked episode.
I'm thinking about it too.
Doing a naked episode?
No, making an OnlyFans.
Yeah?
Yeah, man. People just go on there and like look at feet. You know.
You got nice feet?
I do have nice feet. That's not true. I have great feet.
Let's see them.
I'm not.
You won't pull them out right now.
Not out of these boots, man.
Lame.
I just had the petty. They're drying.
And your boot.
Damn it.
I think that's what we got for today.
I think so. So I hope you dudes enjoyed the discussion. We are always open to more questions, comments, and general kerfuffle. So you can visit us at graysonandmason.com to get all the latest content and also to throw us comments and questions, because we always want this to be a more open floor discussion and hear from you and all your takes. You can visit us on all social medias at Grayson Mason, on Instagram at The Modern Dude, and YouTube, where you can watch the full episodes as you're doing right now at Grayson and Mason.
Yep. And please tell everybody about it. We would love more support. Obviously we like what we're doing here and we think it's a worthy cause. So spread the word, please.
And don't forget,
Oh, yes, quite indubitably.
do your due diligence.